Mayor Gainey, I watched your debate the other night. You did very well. You talked about how you delivered a bunch of affordable housing, but I think in the semantics of that, that means that, you may have redid something or reconstructed something, but there hasn't been any new affordable housing. And within those affordable housing developments that you delivered, where are they in Manchester? I'm undecided on who to vote for Pittsburgh's upcoming mayoral election. An impact on the effects of a $750 million project called the Esplanade happening in our backyard, where no one wants to give an explanation on how that's going to affect our community in the long run. They keep mentioning that there's going to be affordable housing, but no one's has a concrete plan to show where this affordable housing is going to be. All I keep hearing from this tread is that the impact is going to be on transit revitalization. I don't know where transit and affordable housing, are the same. A $750 million project that's definitely going to balloon to over $1 billion after it's all said and done, and how that's going to affect your community and how it's going to affect the diversity in your community. I mean, we're proud of being one of the largest historically black communities in southwestern Pennsylvania, and that is being jeopardized, and that's what our biggest fight is. That's what my biggest fight is, to maintain our status as a minority black community, majority minority black community.
I love my community. I'm Manchester down all my life. I'm just here to support and get what's due our residents who are stakeholders. I'm undecided on which candidate for Pittsburgh mayor I would choose to support. In order to make that decision, I would have to hear something concrete about how they would promote the best interests of the community residents who are stakeholders. Affordable housing is one. I see taxes rising, and what are we gaining for our taxes? Homes are not being cared for in that long-term residents who may pass away. Okay, how are the sons and daughters, the families, able to take over the taxes of the home when they most likely are renting or own their own homes? I mean, I myself, when my mother passed away, I took on the taxes of her house. I was fortunate enough to rent her home out to a faithful, dependable cousin. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to maintain my home with maintenance and repairs and maintain my mother's homes. So for those who don't have that option, that opportunity, what can be done to assist them? What agencies and resources can help them in that respect? I have concerns about the police chief that was hired, who I can't recall his name, but he was coming on as a police chief. His job was to protect the city, make sure that the staff, the police staff, etc., look out for the needs and safety of Pittsburgh. And when this police chief showed more interest in refereeing as opposed to doing his full-time job, when it was agreed upon in his contract that he was hired as a police chief, not as a part-time referee, I don't understand why all of a sudden we're not being given the truth about what really happened. And now he's gone, and he was only here 18 months, and he's receiving $90,000 in pension per year. And I earned a pension as a 34-year teacher, special ed teacher with Pittsburgh Public Schools. I didn't do, I wasn't protecting the city. I was protecting the needs of my students, and I was there for them, or else I would have been fired. So he was given the option of easing out with his pension instead of just being fired. If you don't want to do your job, then don't come in saying you're going to do it, and then you tippy-toe out with money galore. and you're refereeing. I just don't get that. I'm disappointed, and my faith is lost in him as a candidate and what he's done the last 4 years as Mayor Gainey. Course of action, just full honesty. Soften your tone. It's fine to be determined in what you stand for, but I think as a mayor, your tone is very harsh and turns a lot of people off. If you're going to call Attorney General Zappala a racist, I think that's unnecessary. You don't name call. You specifically state the actions that are being done or not done, and then people will take you seriously because there's concrete information that you can agree with or not agree with. But you have to be concrete. You can't be name calling. We're adults, and we must act and speak as adults.
I love being in Manchester. I would love to remain in Manchester. Manchester has been my home for some time, and I'm not ready to leave Manchester. To get my vote, he would have to do more with affordable housing, open communication with the residents of Manchester, that they have input on whatever is being done in the neighborhood, and also transparency as to what will be going on and how it will affect us. The issues for affordable housing is most of the houses that are there now are above income. The income guidelines are way above the poverty level. And it's going to outsource a lot of senior citizens and those that are on fixed income and those with large families that aren't making enough income to suffice. I'd like for him to take a look at all the projects that are now being presented to see the feasibility and how it will affect the neighbors, and if it's worth going forward.
My name is Dee Dee Gowder, and I'm a resident of Manchester. Right now, I'm undecided on which candidate I would support for mayor. But if I were going to support the mayor, he'd have to do something like, as far as doing something for Manchester to benefit from the Esplanade project going on across Chateau. They're saying that the buses are going to be eliminated or lessened or whatever through our neighborhood, and that's my main transportation. Well, that would be a large effect negatively, because that's how I get to work and from work, and if I go visiting, that's how I get around completely, because I don't drive. So I'm just pretty much public transportation. Mayor, public transportation is my life. And if you're going to get my vote, you're going to have to make sure that public transportation remains going through the Manchester neighborhood and on a frequent basis, not like every 2 hours or every hour or something. We need something that's there for us when we need it.
I'm a resident of Manchester, and I'm an undecided voter. I don't know whether I'm going to vote for Corey O'Connor or Ed Gainey. Yes, I'm attending the community meeting with Mayor Ed Gainey Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. So, what do I want to talk about with the mayor? Affordable housing in Manchester, for sure. Manchester is being gentrified. There's people coming in. Our homes, new home in Manchester is up to $650,000. That's leaving us out of it. It's considered a historic black neighborhood, which is slowly diminishing. I'm hoping that we don't turn out to be like East Liberty. And Ed Gainey could come into Manchester with affordable housing. That's the one thing that I would like to see him do. He's talking a good game about affordable housing, that he has created affordable housing. I want to see him create it in Manchester, because right now I don't see it happening at all. And if it is happening, it's happening in secret. I own my home. What is my property taxes going to be looking like? You know, especially if a house across the street from me sells for $487,000, and 2 doors from there, one sells for $430,000. I mean, up the street, any new development in Manchester is up around $600,000. So what is that going to do to my property tax? It's like, okay, the neighborhood's coming up, but then there's a group of people being left out that can't afford $650,000 homes. Even when they talk about affordable housing in the Esplanade project, I don't know anyone that's going to be able to live there. It's not affordable. At $80,000 income for a family of 4, I don't see people who look like me living down in one of the condos of the Esplanade plan. Ed Gainey, if you want my vote, bring in a plan for affordable housing. Just as simple as that. He said he got the plan. He's making it happen, make it happen in Manchester.
I understand the Esplanade project is coming along, and they want to get rid of so many of our schools. But when you do move these people in with the affordable housing, where are the kids going to go to school? If you bus my children out of my neighborhood, and we have 3 local schools, where are they going to go? How much money are you going to spend on busing, bus drivers, mechanics? A lot to put the buses on, garages, whatever it is that's going to take place. And I do not see those figures being weighed when they're saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that to the neighborhood. And so that is some of my concerns with them just taking over and not projecting anything to say, this is going to help you in the long run by me being here. I paid my taxes all these years, and what have I gotten for it? Somebody telling me that I'm really not worth it is basically how it goes. And we're just going to take over and do what we want. And that's what I don't like about the city and how it's running the project, let's say. We, as residents of Manchester, walked with the police. We worked to get the drug dealers out, and gang members kind of just went on about their business pretty much because, in fact, we still have people that stand on the corner and pray every week. But we had several. I mean, and the mothers that prayed on the corners back in the day, they're all passed away. So this has been going on for 30 years easy, because I think I've been on the corners for 20. But we also walked and checked with the police, because they used to have, there'd be 2 police, and they'd walk around and they'd have checkpoints of where that they actually came around and checked our neighborhood to make sure that there weren't any drug dealers standing on the corner. Well, we would go with them. We would stand on the corner where the drug dealer was and say, you can't have our neighborhood. We worked to get the neighborhood to where it is now. The neighborhood seems to have taken a shift, and I don't mind it taking a shift, but it seems to eliminate me as being a longtime resident without any respect and regard to the work that we put in to bring Manchester to where it is today. So when I'm looking at Manchester now, the neighborhood has changed immensely. And for the most part, our older residents, those that have established and helped bring Manchester to where it is now. I don't know, I'm not so much aware of what we did, but I know we ran them out some kind of way, because when they tried to come in, they had to leave. And so they went to either another city or another side of the city, but they didn't stay there. I mean, and if they were dealing privately out of their homes, and it wasn't something visible, putting our children at danger. I'd like to see more involvement with the city, with us. I know affordable housing is one of the things that's on the agenda, and I have houses on my street that they started working on, and they come back every once in a while and maybe put a window in or fix this or fix that, but nobody's been able to live in those houses, and the houses are not ready for occupancy because of whatever reason they have, which means that we don't have more Manchester residents. I think we've sat too long, and I'm taking blame for that. When I worked, which I don't work a lot now, I only have 10 hours a week, but when I worked 40 hours a week, I didn't have time to do anything. So those that have some time, get together like the Manchester neighbors that are doing that now, and trying to speak up and have a voice to let the city officials know that we just don't want to be looked over. I mean, and you take over the community. And I'm going to go back because I said I have a long story. I was here. I was only 2 years old when they took over my mother's and father's business over on the hill to build the Carlton House. The Carlton House is gone. They imploded it. I was here when we moved up the hill, Wiley Avenue, and they made us move again, the business that is, to do the Civic Arena. They made us move again from there, okay, and we had to move over to Forbes Avenue. The building is now gone. Duquesne University has taken it over, but it was right next to the Armstrong Tunnels. So I've been through this several times with moving. I'm glad that my mother and father decided to move over to the north side, and I didn't have to go anywhere else again because it's a great neighborhood. You only got one traffic light to get out of there. But I've seen it happen over and over again where the people don't have a voice in what's going on. And I haven't had a voice since Mayor Caligiuri came in and asked a few questions. And that helped our neighborhood build. I don't need two Juneteenths to spend money on. Okay, I'm sorry. That enraged me, no, not one, because it disunified our people again, having one here and one over here, and one wasn't even on Juneteenth anymore. And I've heard so many different stories about getting rid of some of the people that work in the city. And so that makes me think you're not planning and budgeting properly when I'm seeing money wasted and I'm the one that's paying the taxes.
I want to encourage everyone to attend the community meeting that we're having on April 30th. At Pittsburgh Conroy. Mayor Ed Gainey has agreed to come to the meeting, talk to people in the neighborhood, and just talk about what's happening in the community. I want to do two things. I want to talk to him and I want to listen. I want to talk to him about what's happening in the neighborhood. I want to talk about the Esplanade project, lack of affordable housing, and I really want to raise the issue that people are tending to forget. Manchester is the largest National Register historic black neighborhood in Western Pennsylvania. And we're now in the process of losing 4 churches, in addition to having 50 houses tagged for demolition. So we're concerned about the demolition, we're concerned about losing our churches, and we're also concerned about losing our schools in the neighborhood. First of all, Esplanade is not going to go away, and we don't want it to go away. It's a great project. The problem is, the project at whose expense? Right now, the median income in Manchester for white people is $100,000 a year. The median income for black people in Manchester is $30,000 a year. The Esplanade project only proposes to do 80 units. And even with the 80 units they're doing that they're calling affordable, you got to make $80,000 to buy it. And you have to have a family of 4. And that then means your rent's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000. So there's an issue of affordability. And in addition to that, Manchester is the most expensive African-American neighborhood in the city of Pittsburgh to live in. No other black neighborhood of the 12 neighborhoods that we have, it costs as much to live in Manchester. So if you want a 3-bedroom house in Manchester, rent, it's $2,100. If you want a 2-bedroom apartment, that's $1,500 a month. Esplanade project is not helping that venue. You've done a tour, a housing tour throughout the city right now. Why don't we do a tour of Manchester? Why don't we spend an hour not only doing a tour, but looking at apartments? Why don't we go talk to the people, door to door? Why don't we just get a sense of who's in the neighborhood? No one person speaks for the neighborhood. When I worked for Tom Murphy, the mayor, one of the things he was famous for, he knocked on over 2,000 doors. Why don't we just take time to talk to the people and ask them how they feel? By the way, when you look at the Esplanade project, for example, there's never been a community vote on this. There's never been a meeting that basically said, as a neighborhood, we approve this, we like this. I would talk to the mayor about the fact that only 6 people control all the city and public land in the neighborhood. Unless these 6 people approve it, you can't buy nothing in Manchester. I would talk to him about that. I would talk to him about the next generation of African Americans coming along in Manchester and what the future looks like. Those are some of the things I talked to him about. I think the question is, what do we do today? Each day brings a new challenge. It's going to happen with them. And so it's incumbent upon the people who live in the neighborhood to get involved.